Hello, everybody. It's me. Great to have you here today. We thought it would be really fun to do a Facebook Live to get your questions. All right, we're just getting a little feedback, but it looks like it's working. Should we turn the... Okay, we're all set. All right, cool. So I thought I'd give you a couple of fun project updates, and then, hello, Adam. We'll take your questions, but I'll give you some updates about where we are. So we have completed, are we up to 8 million tiles? Almost at 8 million tiles. That's insanity. That's awesome. You guys and girls are fantastic. Just awesome participation. We're almost at 40,000 users. Hello, Carla. Great to have you here. And so it's great. You know, we know we've been iterating. We've been fixing things as we've gone along according to your suggestions and recommendations. Hi there, Katie, which has been fantastic because this is a huge experiment. We absolutely don't know quite what will happen. We didn't know what would happen when we launched, but we've been incorporating a lot of your feedback on the images, on the platform, on the on things we're doing. We keep making improvements. You know, for example, we're getting some black and white imagery. We fixed that issue. But really, this is just a big experiment, and you all have helped to find some pretty awesome things. We can't quite reveal it yet. Everything's got to be approved by the Peruvian Ministry of Culture. But we're very, very excited about what we've been able to see, what you've been able to see. You know, as we've said all along, the data will be shared very securely with the Ministry of Culture. Hello, Caroline from Devon. Great to have you here. And obviously only with approved archaeologists. So hopefully, starting the next couple months, they'll be going on expeditions into the field to approve and examine some of the things that you've found. So so it's all really exciting. We're moving along. We're in regular contact with colleagues from all over the world. Hi there, Sean. Welcome. So what I thought I'd do is I would open it up to questions from you to see kind of what you're interested in, questions you have about what we're doing next. And of course, I can't go on this Facebook Live feed without mentioning our amazing partners. Digital Globe has helped with, of course, the extraordinary, very high resolution, high quality imagery. We've been working with their TomNod group. They have a really active crowdsourced community. That's really the engine that's been driving this. TED, of course, has very generously provided the funding and helped us with a lot of press and outreach. And of course, National Geographic has helped to provide some of the great content. And just to give a shout out to Mondo Robot, they're the company that's helped design the platform itself, which of course looks beautiful. And don't forget, go to TomNod at Digital Globe to connect with the community there. All right, so first question, anything found that has piqued interest from this program? Well, we're still in kind of initial phases. It's been going for about 5 weeks so far. And you know, we just have a massive amount of data that we have to go through. We're being very cautious and very careful. You know, you certainly don't want to say that a site has been looted or damaged, or that you've seen something that is well known, which is why we are working very closely with a number of specialists. So we're just beginning to start looking at the imagery, looking at the data. You know, to be honest with all of you, we had no idea what would happen when we launched the platform. We didn't want it to crash. We didn't want it to go horribly wrong. So we've been a bit more judicious in our initial assessment of the data because we knew we'd have a bit of time to look at things. But now that we feel comfortable, the platform's stable, we can really start diving into the data. Oh, okay, it's hard to hear me. All right, I'm gonna try holding it a bit closer. Is this better? Can you hear me a bit better now? Hear fine. Okay, some of you can hear fine. All right, I'm going to try talking a bit louder. I'm just getting used to Facebook Live, so bear with me. All right, so one other question. I can't hear at all. Your computer may be muted if you can't hear me at all. Okay, better. Yeah, great, thank you. Okay, most of you can hear better. Make sure to unmute your computers. All right, so the other question, where are we going next? Great, thank you all for letting me know it's loud and clear. I just had to get a bit closer. So we're beginning to consider what countries we might do next. We of course, have to get full permission from whatever ministry or government organizations that are in charge of archaeology and antiquities or cultural heritage. The last thing we want to do is just say, hey, we're going to do country X, and the government says, excuse me, you didn't really talk to us at all. The key to the success of this project and Global Explorer as an engine, and for us, is collaboration with local archaeologists. We've been very lucky to work with some amazing people on the ground, Peruvian archaeologists doing amazing work with drones, with archaeology, with reaching out to local communities. So that's really, really important. And the other thing too that I want to mention is Global Explorer as an organization just isn't about the platform. That's only one aspect of what we're doing. Really, really crucial part of what we do, because obviously we're all about technology and cutting edge innovation and archaeology. We are collaborating very closely with Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities, and we run a field school program. Which we had our second season in December of this year. Went really, really well. It's at a site about 2 hours south of Cairo called Lisht. I talk about it a little bit in my TED Talk. If you go to TED.com and look that up, you can learn a little bit more about it. But basically, it's a site that dates to about 3,800 years ago. There are 2 pyramids there from 2 of the kings that founded Dynasty 12. And we're working on a tomb, a very heavily looted tomb, of a gentleman called Intef. And so this season we went back, we trained 7 young Egyptians, all incredibly bright and keen and excited about archaeology, and we've got some really, really exciting collaborations on the horizon directly with the ministry. I've got a fantastic Egyptian co-director, we've got a great team, so it's really awesome that we're going to be moving ahead on things. So as well, I've got some other questions too. We're dealing a lot with outreach. We're going to be working a lot with school groups, especially this summer in camps. We're already getting contacts and requests from organizations, science centers. Certainly we want to do more with applying technology, 3D mapping, 3D modeling. Okay, so the other question, have we had any negative responses yet from any countries that we've reached out to? We've been really careful, especially as we were picking Peru. We thought very, very carefully about where we'd start. We want to make sure that, first of all, that it would be a place where the world would want to go. It had to be a country that a lot of people would know. As excited as I get about the archaeology all around the world, I'm an archaeologist, I'm an archeo nerd. I could pick any country and probably be happy there, but the key is to engage all of you and to make sure you're all engaged. So that's why we really chose Peru. Everyone knows it because of Machu Picchu. Everyone in general knows about the Inca and its diverse and rich cultures. So we very carefully thought through a lot of things before we approached the government. And the other thing too is with National Geographic and other contacts that I have, we knew already that the Ministry of Culture in Peru was very open to technology. They have an extraordinary drone mapping program run by my friend Dr. Luis Jaime Castillos, who's a professor at Catholic University. For a while he was the minister or vice minister of culture. So we knew in general they were just very open to technology, open to collaborations, open to partnerships. So I went down there a couple times before we announced that we would be starting this project. And the other thing too, we have a great on-the-ground partner with the Sustainable Preservation Initiative, my friend Dr. Larry Coben, and that organization deals with providing economic opportunities, business training, and really empowering local women on or next to archaeological sites, teaching them about doing handicrafts so that they can then get some financial independence. So certainly between Larry and Louis Jaime, they provided a lot of great guidance for working together with the Ministry of Culture. So we're certainly going to be very, very cautious as we move ahead and think about the next country. And this time, I think we'll have a great success story, because we'll have done Peru. We can show the results. We can show the impact on the ground. Obviously, these things take time, but that's really, we want to be cautious as we move ahead. So another question that I saw: is this the future of archaeology? Should archaeologists be partnering with computer scientists? I have to say, even though I've been doing satellite remote sensing for years, I get really excited about it. We've got to be careful. There's no single solution. Certainly, everyone uses computers now for archaeology, whether it's 3D reconstruction, databases, mapping. So I think already archaeologists are just using computers in general, but in terms of computer science, big data, there are a lot of tremendous applications. We've got to be careful, though, because, of course, we can't just do computer science. We've got to get there on the ground. We've got to explore. We've got to really see what's there. Unless you get out there on the ground, you're going to miss a lot. So I think partnering with computer scientists, with specialists, with data scientists, with remote sensing specialists is awesome, but you pair that with on the ground. Right, how many kilometers have we reviewed in Peru? So it's a bit of math. I don't quite know the answer off the top of my head, but if you look at the nearly 8 million tiles that have been done, and each one is about 300 by 300 meters in size, and you do the math, that's how much has been looked at. I can't quite do that off the top of my head. I figured out when we've done about 1 million tiles. So, what's that? 80,000. Whoa, 80,000. That's a lot. 80,000 square kilometers. That's awesome. So the more users we have, the more people we have looking at this, then the more kilometers that will have been done. But I mean, just to put it in perspective for you, on an archaeological site, typically, we have another number? You're not live anymore. Oh, it looks like I'm live. Can you all hear me?
It's showing live here.
Can you hear me? Sorry, someone's, it should be fine. Okay, we're just checking. Okay. Could the platform possibly be used to track the destruction of archaeological sites by ISIS in Syria? That's tricky. For the work that we're doing, we don't need day-to-day. Great, thank you all. Sorry, we had a little technical glitch, but we're all good. For the day-to-day work, in terms of monitoring looted sites in Syria, you need that data. You need daily, weekly data. For the work that we're doing in Peru, even though we're using the most up-to-date data possible from the last couple of years, it doesn't matter as much. Certainly for looting, you want the most recent data, but it could be done, certainly, but you need to get that reliable daily data, and that's really, really, really tough to do. Friends and colleagues of mine are very heavily involved in the mapping of the destruction of sites in Syria, and they're using all the up-to-date satellite information they can, but it's really, really hard to get that new data, because ultimately the military they're the ones in charge of things. Okay, what other questions do we have? Okay, will we know user stats? Yes, we're definitely going to be doing some shout outs in the next couple weeks. There are a couple of you that have already reached space archaeologists, which means you've done 50,000 titles, which is just awesome. To make you feel better, I haven't reached space archaeologists yet. I think I'm at about 1,500 tiles. As much as I love playing, I have to kind of run it and make sure things are moving along. So that's them's the breaks. But I'm super proud of all of you that are using it. I've had friends and colleagues of mine send me pictures of their kids working together, helping to map sites. Which is just so awesome. Like, that's the point, right? You want to engage kids. And I think the other thing I want to mention, which has become really, really important, I don't say it's never not been important, but especially in the last couple months, we've had a lot of challenges. The idea of breaking down walls, democratizing exploration, providing opportunities for everyone, regardless of age, race, gender, sexuality, just allowing everyone to participate. We've had so many comments from people who said, oh, because of reasons X, Y, or Z, I wanted to be an archaeologist, but, I had to study something, probably my parents said I had to study something practical, or there weren't the resources available for me to go on a dig. And this is something that I feel very strongly about because, not everyone can go and study it, but this is a way for everyone to participate. All right, so another great question. Do you get government guarantees that site looting will be monitored before looking at the country? So this is interesting. Every country has its own looting laws and ways that they respond to looting. It's very much government-based. Sometimes it's even different within a country. So we have to abide by and certainly follow local law to a T. Peru in particular, they have very, very strict guidelines and regulations on site looting. If it's reported, they have to investigate it. So we have to be very careful because some of the looting that you've found, is potentially a bit newer, some of it's a bit older, and if it's older, it happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it's something we just have to watch out for. So yes, one of you says data democratization. That's true. That's true. This is a way that we can share data, share information. Initially, I think there were a lot of worries that people who use the platform, who use the website, somehow people would be able to hack it, get GPS information, and go loot sites. And I think for those of you that have used it, you see there's just no way for you to see where you are in Peru, and you could spend 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours on Google Earth and just, good luck, if you happen to find where you are, fine, but, we're not telling you exactly what you found. That's going to come down the road, and we're certainly going to be obscuring a lot of site data. So you might not even necessarily know when you click the button, yes, this is a thing, you're not going to be able to remember which one you clicked. So we've protected the data to the extent that we can. Will ever use LiDAR on this platform? Another great question. So for those of you that don't know, LiDAR stands for when can we get more Spagus prizes? More on that in a second. So LiDAR is a technology that stands for light detection and ranging. It is flown in an airplane or a helicopter or a drone or UAV. And it's essentially a laser mapping system that sends down thousands of pulse beams of light to look at a bare earth model. So if something's covered with trees, you can strip it away. So this is how you would do, one of you asked, how would you do space archaeology in a forest? So this is how you do it, because with satellites you can't see through things, but with LiDAR you can. So yeah, I think certainly if there are large LiDAR data sets down the road, that's something we could definitely put on top of the platform. And the area that you'd see would be much, much smaller. So you'd be looking at an area instead of 300 by 300 meters, maybe it would be 20 by 20 meters in size, just because the LiDAR data is so data intensive. So yeah, I think that's something we're very much thinking about down the road as we think about expanding the platform. Peru is a great place to collect LiDAR data, of course. They already have LiDAR data. I think you may be hearing some cool and exciting things about potential LiDAR discoveries down the road. Other countries, it's very difficult to access LiDAR. Maybe it's not allowed because of military restrictions. So, but in a place like Egypt, for example, you don't really need LiDAR. Everything's out in the desert, everything's open. And how will you get permission to excavate things inside a forest? Well, ultimately, we are not doing the excavations. I have a permit to work in Egypt via a collaborative mission with the Egyptian government, but I'm not a specialist in the archaeology of Peru or anywhere else for that matter. This is why we're giving the data directly to the archaeologists who are working on the ground. So it's up to those projects. So hopefully they would already have their permits in place to explore wherever they're exploring. So. That's not really my area of specialization. All right, so let's see if we have any other questions. I'll scroll up a bit because of, are we on track to complete the imagery review? I think we're well on our way. Things are going really well. Everyone's been. Yeah, we're going to be planning a phase 2 to expand just because we've had so much interest from so many groups of people who are now just hearing about it. They want to be able to participate. So we're definitely hitting our benchmarks, but we want to make sure that we can allow as many people to participate as possible. Okay, how will GX address the issues older searchers have with seeing contrast depth, adjust size, image, and contrast. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is not a remote sensing program. You know, with the software that we use, we can adjust things, we can enhance imagery. We've done the best job we can with the imagery that we have, but there are certainly just a lot of restrictions that we have. Now, down the road, as we develop the platform, as we develop things, yeah, I know it's a bummer, but I mean, you know, it them's the breaks, and we've done the best we can. You know, it's certainly things that we're thinking about. All right, so let's see what other questions that we have. And we're definitely working with our design and our development teams for new updates to enhance the imagery to allow all of you to see more. You know, we've learned a lot as we've gone along. There have been some bumps. You know, this is a huge learning experience for me. If you'd asked me 2 years ago to tell you about the importance of user design and user interface and opportunities for more public, large-scale engagement, I would have gone, what? What are you talking about? I don't know anything. And boy, has this opened my eyes. You know, I've just learned so much about just how important all of that is. Okay. What is the long-term goal of this project, and what do you think the challenges might be? So long-term, I think that the ultimate goal is to really kickstart a global movement, an international movement to really empower everyone across the globe that has access to a smartphone and a computer to be explorers, right? Like I have a young child, you know, I just see the world through his eyes, and he's just so he's taught me so much about exploration, and that there's just this innate human ability. So that's really the ultimate goal, just empower everyone to explore. Unfortunately, we are now out of time. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for participating. Definitely email us, info@globalexplorer.org if you've got questions. Can't wait to hear from you, and wish you all a lovely week. Bye-bye.